This week on the Cannonballs podcast, we find out, did Brian have enough time to read through Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray? Did Brian figure out how to work OBS to make his mic not sound like shit? How rough does General Grievous like it? I am joined, as always, by Aaron Laramie, Daryl Bryan, and Wesley. Who are you? Isaac.
Call me Daryl Bryan.
Daryl Bryan.
What's up, guys?
I think.
Did you see my magic trick?
No, I missed it.
Oh, that's okay.
He just pulled a handkerchief out of his mouth.
We'll do it later. We'll do more magic later on the show.
Why do you think he wasn't talking earlier?
I think our listeners are going to notice immediately. Aaron's really handsome.
You know what?
Watching this,
I think he looks kind of pretty.
He's both pretty and handsome. I have that same picnic cup. Fascinating.
Can you be both pretty and handsome?
Yes. Look at Aaron.
Touché.
So spoilers. I didn't have time to read Master and Apprentice. What was our subscriber's name? Lieutenant
Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yep.
Close enough.
To Lieutenant Dan, Lucas, the guy who wanted to be our friend. I apologize, let you guys down.
He was really obsessed with Anakin losing one of his limbs for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
I
didn't read any further comments.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, he was very upset about that. Not sure.
We'll get to that at the end of the show for you, Lieutenant Dan. Oh shit, that was a joke.
Nope.
Well, and that's Spaceballs. Thank you very much.
We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, I'm excited to see if we don't sound like shit. But Aaron, you wanted to talk about some fan theories, didn't you?
I do. Well, I thought like a good jumping off point for us for sure would be just talking about conspiracy theories, some fan theories, and my inability to decipher the difference between the two. So I just wanted your guys' opinions on probably the most like famous or notorious Star Wars fan theory that I think there is, which is the sort of Darth Jar Jar like canon that people tried to squeeze in before or I guess in the middle of the new trilogy. I don't know how, like, if any of you guys have strong opinions about that.
I'm a big fan of it, just as a fun one.
It's all hoopla.
What's all the evidence they have? Like Jar Jar jumping really high at some point.
Yeah, he jumps down from that little overpass when they surprise the droids.
Oh, Wes knows it pretty well.
Yeah, you know, I read a little bit. I know how to read. So,
yeah, you can read. Yeah, I think it's generally it's his sort of oafishness, yet his ability to basically survive like every one of the dangerous situations. Like he's sort of stumbling around like Charlie Chaplin, yet he's like unfazed by everything that happens in a way. So he has this weird like aura about him, which I can't, in rewatching like certain scenes in the original prequels, like disagree with that to a certain extent, but
it's
again,
like comically just bad at what he's doing.
Yeah, well, and it's a biased viewing because I'm looking like for it, I think, more because I'm like, ooh, I like the theory and I want it to be something that they sort of followed through with, which obviously now we know that, I mean, they're pretty unlikely, if ever.
Bring him back in 10.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure, you know.
So, do we think Jar Jar is still alive? Well, here's my question. In Force Awakens, is one of the planets they blow up Naboo?
In Force Awakens?
Because they blow up Coruscant for sure. Force Awakens in their bigger Death Star, they line up the planets somehow miraculously. They're all aligned.
Are they in the same solar system?
Great question.
I'm pretty sure that when they all line up, doesn't that release all the Titans that go to attack Zeus? Well, and then Hercules Meg gets trapped by that big boulder, and then Hercules gets his power back, and he's like, "Fuck you, Hades." And I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right? Isn't that? the end of Star Wars?
I thought you said "fuck you" 80s at some point. Like he just
fuck
like
you 80s. And Hercules is like, fuck the 80s, bro. Yeah, you guys don't remember that from Star Wars?
No, I don't.
No. I'll send it to you. Don't worry.
I would have loved the idea of Jar Jar being evil, just because the sequels kind of went so off the rails.
I genuinely think relative to some of the stuff that's happened, like there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. I mean, again, obviously it's ridiculous, but I mean, we've seen stuff that's been equally as ridiculous. So why not do some sort of fan service like that? Like how great a reveal. Could you imagine seeing that in the theater, opening night or whatever, and it's like a hood and lifts up and it's fucking Jar Jar with like red eyes or something? I mean, come on.
Lord.
Yeah, like give me a break. The first time he speaks, people would have lost their shit.
Or he's got like a really menacing voice for no reason.
Laughing. Oh, exactly. Or he's like hissing and he's very, scary and like whatever. He's all like spiky or something, like different looking. Like
I'd like spiky Jar Jar.
They could have done some pretty like gnarly stuff with him just because it's their story. It's their product. Why not just I don't know. Again, they're not
I think when things are unexplainable, like how bad of a character Jar Jar is for the Star Wars universe, you kind of have to just create something to make it more believable, So make him a Sith Lord.
Do you guys think that if they had done a twist like that, say hypothetically, and were relatively successful, like it wasn't like Best Picture, oh my God, praised, like it's the greatest movie of all time, but it's generally well received by Star Wars fans, which is basically a miracle. Do you think that erases some of the sort of hate that the prequels get? Like, do you think that redeems them ultimately?
You'd have to rewatch them, obviously.
I think the prequels are having a bit of a renaissance, to be perfectly honest. So maybe that's just the odd community and Reddit I live in.
No, I think that's more based on just the last couple ones haven't been so great, so we're like, you know what, wasn't that bad?
Made the prequels better.
Compared to this, I'll take Jar Jar.
Yeah.
So that could be some of it too.
So I think if he was actually a Sith Lord, that would have just like made the prequels go way off the rails, though. I think there was already just so much shit going on. Like if Jar Jar turned out to be the Sith Lord the whole time,
I think it would have been ridiculous. I definitely don't.
It would have gotten real ridiculous.
Yeah, it would not have been received super positively, like across the board.
Absolutely not.
I would have liked it.
No, they would have been like, "Are you kidding me?" Like George, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what?
No, it's awesome, and the least respecting guy. Nobody.
Once we get to the Clone Wars animated series, we get to do some more Jar Jar research.
So one thing that I actually wanted to bring up too is I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I saw something on Reddit actually that was talking about the top streamed shows just over like quarantine, and the very top show actually now was it was
wow.
And just behind it was
I'm announcing. Yeah, I just wanted to announce to you guys. No, it was Star Wars Clone Wars, like the animated series on Disney Plus. Like it was the newer one that they just released, which I thought was pretty amazing considering Mandalorian was right behind it too, I guess. But still, the fact that a new animated Star Wars series is the most like streamed. They said it had 180 million views like over the course of it was like 2 or 3 months or something, which I was like, holy shit! It was like some insane
I hadn't
number.
Seen probably any episode until Disney Plus came out. I've thrown on episodes here and there, and I think there's some really enjoyable ones. There are times when I'm like, I know this is a kid's show.
Yeah, well, and it is, but I mean, still, it's not something that I think Star Wars fans, and not even like diehard fans, just general Star Wars fans are watching for sure. But it was, higher than like Netflix, Amazon Prime, anything like that. Those are the two highest stream shows over the last 3 months, which obviously people have been streaming quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 months. So I thought that was pretty impressive and shows like how impressive the Star Wars brand is, to be honest. The fact that the top 2 shows were both Star Wars shows is pretty ridiculous.
Oh, definitely. That's why we're getting in that niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Or cash in. Just wait until, let's see. We're going to read Master and Apprentice. I've got a Qui-Gon Jinn comic book to read.
Fuck yes.
And then I've got the young reader called Size Matters Not.
We're going to have fun with that one, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Size Matters Not.
I think for the Qui-Gon Jinn one,
the other Jedis with smaller lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly.
Qui-Gon Jinn one, we should do Qui-Gon Jinn night, and we all drink gin the entire night.
Oh, I like this.
I don't see why not.
So
all right, so Jinn I'm gonna.
Yes.
Let me look.
So while Aaron's looking for something, we've got Master and Apprentice this week, which is about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. We've got a Qui-Gon comic book, which is like 25 pages, but so the following weeks I've got like 5 comic books that are just titled Star Wars and then a number. So it's like the Marvel Star Wars comic. Mm-hmm. And depending on how long they are, I may just plow through the 5 of them.
Who stars in those comics?
Star Wars.
The Wars.
It doesn't follow like a main character.
I could spoil it for us right now, but I have no idea. Let's click on this link. So Star Wars 26. It features Yoda prior to the Phantom Menace.
Baby Yoda. Teenage Yoda.
Old.
Yeah, Yoda's very old.
Do you guys remember like the marketing for, I think it was like Attack of the Clones on DVD? They were just like, Yoda's like 800 years old, and it's like him about to fight Dooku. Yeah. It's an old man.
Yoda,
so we got those 5 Star Wars comics. We've got 5 Darth Maul comics. Looks like no, that's another comic about Darth Maul. Another comic.
I hope we get to see Spider Darth Maul.
A novel that releases June 2nd called Queen's Peril.
Not even anything to do with Star Wars.
Phantom Menace. And what queen? I wonder.
I'd assume
Elizabeth.
It's,
the
Padme,
third,
right? Yeah.
Is it Padme? Queen Amidala?
Amidala
is a canon young adult novel written by E.K. Johnston.
Gravius.
Published. This is just after Padme has been elected monarch of Naboo.
Oh, okay. Queen Amygdala?
You know, I'm a big Natalie Portman fan just from...
but they're 2 different people.
Clone
one of them
Wars.
is an actress and the other one is a fictional queen.
Yeah, but they're one and the same, basically.
I mean,
I like she's not based off the Natalie Portman.
It'd be like
version.
saying, you know,
yeah,
I love Mark Hamill and being like, well, Luke Skywalker is a different person. Well, yeah.
I mean, technically.
I'm sure that if you saw Mark Hamill, you're like, Luke, he would be like, please don't.
Yeah. Honestly, Mark Hamill's a pretty cool guy. Not that he'd be hyped that you're yelling Luke at him, but he probably more than most wouldn't be like that upset about it.
Joker.
Well, I mean,
Joker in the Batman animated series.
He kills it as the Joker.
Yeah, dude, Mark Hamill's awesome. He's been doing the Joker for like 30 years or 25 years.
Video games.
Because he did it in the 90s.
Animated series.
The Batman animated series.
Yeah, he's probably a top 5 mark.
Yeah.
You know what the number 1 mark is?
Cuban.
That's pretty good. I would say X marks the spot.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
And that's Wes's pirate joke of the podcast.
You gotta somehow squeeze that into SpongeBalls, so it's a podcast within a podcast within a podcast.
Okay, I'll come up with some sponge jokes for you.
I thought you were pirate jokes.
Oh, okay.
So, Aaron, your other theory you like is blowing up the Death Star was an inside job.
Oh, yeah?
It kind of was. Rogue One.
Weren't you talking about that earlier?
I like it. Yeah, I think...
Just throw him under the bus. Now ad-lib.
So, what makes you think it was an inside job, Brian?
Rogue One, mostly.
Specifically Rogue One?
Yeah.
I think there's a good chance that there are some people inside the Death Star that didn't want it to be blown up, but I bet there were a fair amount of people that did.
Well, I think everyone inside the Death Star didn't want it to be blown up because they would be immediately killed.
Do you remember
Some people might not.
the little Weasley guy from the last one that was like helping him out, and he gets shot because he's a traitor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just
names.
picturing that dude from Harry Potter that
no,
turns
no,
into a mouse. That's the
little
only Weasley guy I know.
Guy. And he's blonde, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. And he seems kind of mean, but he's really not. And he's like, take these, and you can blow up this big space station. I bet you there were Weasley guys like that at the regular Death Star.
The guy who's like, I'm the mole.
That guy's definitely not blonde.
I like moles.
I'm pretty sure
someone said red hair. Didn't he have red hair?
He definitely had red hair.
Which one?
I'm gonna forget his name now.
I clearly don't know his name. So
redhead Star Wars guy.
He was such an unimportant character.
Guy. No, he's the traitor, and they get shot.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the mole.
He doesn't tell them he's the mole.
Yeah, this guy.
He literally has a line where he says, I'm the mole.
You're talking about Admiral Hux.
Yeah, Mole Man?
Yeah, dude.
He absolutely has red hair.
Nah, dude, he's blonde, bro.
No, he has red hair.
Well,
maybe it's a strawberry blonde.
I can't wait till I get to read the whole Hux backstory.
It's red like Brian's shirt.
Was that sarcastic, Brian?
It was. I hope there's not a Hux story.
What? I liked him. He was like, "Oh, don't worry, guys. I don't know what's going on," and then he gets shot, and I was like, "That sucks."
Yeah.
The
end.
I'm
gonna share Hux for everyone. If I could figure it out. We're not gonna share Hux because.
Oh man, that's
pop up.
If I'm watching this podcast, I'd
like, turn it off right now.
I'd be like, nope, not even gonna share Hux.
Blow it up. It's over.
Oh man.
So I have another
conspiracy
theory or two here that I want. Again, not conspiracy theory, but fan theory. But whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So one of the things here is talking about the fact that Ewoks eat people, and it's basically like this one's more or less canon. But when Han and Luke were trying to blow out the cooking fires during Return of the Jedi, and the Ewoks like had them all strung up, like. What are they? I mean, they're basically cooking them, right? Like are they just?
No, that's like I never thought of it like that.
What's wrong with that? Like, Ewoks like, man.
Do we know they plan on eating them, or is it just like a sacrifice to some sort of?
But why would they? I mean,
deity?
Is that not what we would do to like a pig if we were roasting it over a fire?
Yeah, the cannibals in Pirates of the Caribbean, they were roasting those guys over a fire.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but in Pirates, isn't it also assume they're sacrificing him?
Speaking of pirates,
no, they think he's a god and they're eating him. You're right.
I don't have another one right
Didn't
now.
they have like extra clothes lying around for Leia too? Didn't they give her like a dress or something?
Well,
am I remembering that right? Did they give them clothes?
Yeah, they're like, we ate this person, but you can have her clothes.
Take their clothes. Yeah.
Well, and do you think that they had the stormtrooper like helmets? Do you think that they were using them like, hey, drums? Do you think
Mr. Stormtrooper, can I borrow your helmet? And he's like, sure thing, for your drum set. Yeah, no, they definitely ate that guy.
Yeah, he was definitely eaten.
I like that. I like that. I mean, there's probably no vegetables on that planet, so they have to get their source
There's no
of
vegetables in the entire Star Wars universe. So we've been
they're vegetarian or
portions
even
and quarter portions.
Nice.
And blue
no, Wes, I'm saying they're omnivores because there's no vegetables there. They have to eat people.
Exactly.
Yep. I agree. You do what you got to do. If we had no vegetables here, I'd have to eat you guys.
That's true. Survive.
Right, matey?
Survival.
Otherwise, you'll get scurvy.
Yeah.
It's all about surviving. Except I wouldn't eat Aaron because it's his birthday.
You're right.
It is Aaron's birthday.
We're
going off script, but
birthday month.
Oh, I'm sorry. I take it back. Aaron's birthday.
How dare you?
You could like and subscribe for Aaron's birthday. We'd really appreciate it. I know you've definitely gotten this far into this week's episode.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'd be watching it too.
I pulled up some statistics about average listen time, and it was longer than I thought. It's like 5 to 7 minutes, and I think that was just all of us.
That's not bad.
Well, I can only listen to it at 5 to 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Why would you even go that far without trying to finish it, though? Like, I'd be like, okay, let's keep going.
I'm in. I'm going to find out what happens with Saifa Diaz.
You've already sunk your meat hooks into my listening ears, so I'm good. Let's go. Let's go for this ride.
I like it.
What else you got, Brian?
So the actor who played Jango Fett, let's get his name so he doesn't get mad when he listens back that I left out his name.
Did Jango Fett?
Yeah, Jango Fett actor.
That'd be a good crossover.
Oh, no. It's Temuera Morrison.
I love easy names. What is it?
Temuera
Morrison?
Yeah.
Top 5 Morrisons.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with top 5 Temueras.
No, those are the Morris brothers. Can I just add the Morris brothers who played basketball?
Yeah, that'll count as
all
one.
of them?
Yeah.
Like 5 of them.
Dave Morrison. All
Good
5.
enough.
There's 5 Morris brothers?
Probably.
There's 2.
Jim?
There's at least 3.
Markeith and Marcus.
Yeah, and Marshall.
There's Marshall Morris?
Yeah, I made him up.
Yeah, the general.
So Temuera Morrison is going to play Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. Your thoughts?
So I'm like, does that not mess with like the time? I have not watched The Mandalorian, full disclosure, so I don't know if like, does that not take place in the past because Yoda's small, or do I just not understand?
Is that supposed to be Yoda? I've never watched it. So
no, that's not Yoda.
Mandalorian takes place, I think, 7 to 9 years after Empire's. No, not after Empire.
Oh, okay. So it's
the Return of the Jedi.
Okay. It's odd to me that one of the things that's so strange to me about Star Wars is they consistently like they have this massive expansive universe and like this huge amount of time that events take place across, and yet so much of their content takes place across like 100 or 200 years of like a small part of the universe. Like, why does Mandalorian have to be right after Empire? It's so weird. I don't know why I feel like they force things like that so much.
Yeah, Mandalorian's 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, which was the blowing up of the Death Star in A New Hope.
Yeah, okay.
But technically, it is still after Episode 6.
Mm-hmm. It is very cool that they are getting sort of an original casting. Like, I feel like that's some nice fan service because a lot of people, that's like, you know, casting Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Like, how big a deal is that?
Oh, yeah. And it's coming back, too. I like that.
So, I think what this throws into question is, well, did Boba Fett survive? Because,
Sarlacc?
Yeah.
Yeah, he flies out of it.
That answers it, right?
I don't know if it does, because what if he is experiencing a flashback? What if we're not getting Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba Fett
in the same time period as Mando. We're getting him, before he gets eaten by the Sarlacc. So
that could be true.
Do you think he did survive? Because he does in a lot of non-canon media.
That's not canon?
Him surviving is not canon to my knowledge. Lieutenant Dan, write in if I'm wrong.
Ice cream.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he survived.
I'd like it if he survives.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't care if he survives or not? So, Wes, have you watched The Mandalorian?
Well, I have not.
Oh, Jesus. Daryl, you're the only one?
Yeah. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. So Aaron
us.
had not seen it and assumed this happened, I guess, based on you thinking it was actually Yoda 700 years before everything.
So Baby Yoda is not politically correct.
I wasn't sure how. Okay, well, so I wasn't sure how long how far in the past it was, but I did assume that it was previous to like A New Hope for sure.
Yeah. So we're jumping into our content years in the future, but we don't know if Yoda is an offspring or Baby Yoda is an offspring of Yoda. He's not given an actual name.
Or if Yoda, well, yeah, and I assume that it wasn't like just literally necessarily.
So I think the best theory is he is cloned, because Daryl, you remember the scientist guy who was trying to protect Yoda?
The German scientist.
Yeah. He was wearing a logo that
people, the German guy
that people in Camino wore, the cloners. So he had like a logo on his jacket that was from Camino. So the theory is this is some sort of Yoda clone.
I don't know. I still think Yoda fucks.
So, if Palpatine fucks, Yoda absolutely fucks.
Palpatine didn't fuck, did he?
In my headcanon, it's some sort of immaculate conception. Force come, if you will.
Yeah.
and here it goes off the rail.
Force come.
He force comes in your head? Is that what you
Oh, that's horrifying. Now I'm picturing it. Oh, it's
he force comes wherever he wants, wherever he damn well pleases.
That's not lightning coming out of his fingers.
I think you need to ask for consent before you force come.
Yeah, forced entry.
You think Palpatine asked for consent? This is our new theory.
He signs a waiver before.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
I'm excited that Boba Fett's going to be included in Mandalorian, and you guys should probably watch it. Or save it for, in 5 years, whenever we get to it.
5 years.
I don't think you guys have looked at this timeline on Wikipedia, but there's a fucking lot.
Yeah, if you just send it to us.
No.
I'm too lazy to Google Wikipedia, so.
Said Wikipedia?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like
for Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like Java is a Wookiee, right?
Like Pokemon is the Bulbapedia. Are there any other clever puns?
Oh.
And if you want to look up Grievous stuff, it's Grievousopedia.
It actually moved to
fandom. Grievouspediacedia?
Grievouspedias.
Oh, yeah.
Grievouspedias.
Yep, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites.
So I've got this idea for a podcast within a podcast.
Okay.
Spongeballs. So did you guys ever play Battle for Bikini Bottom?
Dude, I torch Battle for Bikini Bottom.
That was on the computer, right?
I think it was on GameCube. It was probably PS2.
Nope.
I think it was PS2. Yeah. The Xbox.
They are remastering it.
Yeah, they're remastering
it. Comes out in June.
Yep.
I'd like to do a playthrough with all of you guys.
I got the pre-order already, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you're ready to go? How are you going to capture it?
What do you call me?
How are you going to capture it? You going to do Twitch or?
Oh, I don't know. I don't do that kind of stuff. I usually just play games for my own sake. But if you want to do a playthrough, I'll do it with you.
Yeah, you want to break quarantine? Come up here. We'll play some Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, dude. We could do a bunch of screens. By that point, we'll have so much money from this podcast that we can do whatever we want.
By June. That was me looking at the calendar on my computer, by the way.
Are they charging a full $60 for the game?
Probably.
I don't know. Mine was just like $5 down. Let's go. And I was like, they could have been $100. They could have been like, SpongeBob, $100. I'd be like, deal.
Yeah, you battle Neptune. You battle the King Jellyfish. You battle Robot Sandy.
Final battle is this robot burger thing, and it's like a robot SpongeBob thing, and it throws burgers and shit. That's fucking crazy, man. And you gotta shoot. You get a little net, and you shoot torpedoes out of it. Oh, you guys are gonna love it.
You do some town surfing, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one too.
Them remastering and re-releasing that game gives me hope for them to remake or remaster Simpsons Hit and Run.
That'd be good.
Which I really, really liked. Which I feel like is definitely like Battle for Bikini Bottom, like cult status kind of thing, where that's a game that I feel like would sell out if they remade that. A lot of people would get into a remaster or something like that.
Sure.
Honestly, the company that bought the rights to Battle for Bikini Bottom, THQ Nordic, they've been doing some weird things, and I feel like there's a chance that happens.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Remastering Simpsons Hit and Run. Trying to look through their games right now.
THQ Nordic?
Yeah, so THQ, the original game company, went under. And this company, I don't know if they're related in any way to the original THQ. but they remastered a few games, or they
The
took
Viking
the
version
name.
of HQ.
Have you guys ever played Tak and the Power of Juju?
Yep.
That was a
I did
solid
a little bit, yeah.
They remastered that?
No, but they should.
Oh.
No.
What about
thinking of
Pitfall?
old
You
games
ever
I
played
was playing.
Pitfall?
They
Not the old
remastered
arcade
Destroy All
version, but
Humans.
Pitfall.
Oh. Or Alien Hominid?
Never played Alien Hominid.
Oh, that's a good one.
You say the alien hominoid?
Yeah,
So Countdown to Phantom Menace, I think I gave you guys that already. We're like 5-ish weeks away.
Gotta be
exciting. I gotta get my dad to listen to an episode or two so he could join us for this.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be phenomenal.
Because that's his favorite Star Wars movie.
Everybody knows that's his favorite Star Wars movie, man. That's gonna be tops Belubi.
So I was hanging out with a friend, we'll call her, and
why can't you just call her by her name, Brian? It's archaic.
Call me by your name, Brian.
I know she won't listen because she hates podcasts. But I was hanging out with a friend, and she had a friend over FaceTime, and we were playing a game. I think I had to be with some West Hartford people too, and it was what was the card game Luda has?
Cards Against Humanity.
No.
Anyway,
it's
card.
You drink if you've got a MILF or a DILF. And the girls who know my dad were like, Brian, raise your hand. So this came up, and the friend of the girl I was hanging out with found my dad on Facebook and started messaging him. And I was encouraging it.
Fantastic.
I was like, yeah, sure. Talk about, because I found out she likes Star Wars. I'm like, ask him why Phantom Menace is his favorite movie. He got pretty defensive.
You started taking it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not denying that there are bad parts of the movies, but he thinks it's got the best lightsaber battle.
Yep, the best pod racing scene.
And he loves Darth Maul. I think he'll be thrilled to find out Darth Maul's alive.
Darth Maul's not alive. Nobody cares.
You're going to care in a year when we get to the Clone Wars pod.
Dude, Darth Maul's definitely alive. I saw him in Disneyland like a couple months.
There was like 8 of them.
Yeah, dude, Darth Maul was there like doing like stunts and stuff on stage. He's definitely alive.
I saw like 3 of them. Darth Maul definitely fucks.
Yeah, there's a Darth Maul story where he's got like spider legs. I'm pretty sure. I hope that's still canon.
Spider Maul.
Yeah,
Spider Maul.
Darth Maul has robot legs in Clone Wars animated series.
He's got like 8 of them, and then he finally is like, okay, I'm done with the spider legs. I'll go back to regular human legs. And then for some reason, and then for some reason he gets a cane after that. Why not just?
He's old.
Well, he's got robotic legs. Why do you need a cane,
retired, bro? He's retired.
He's retired. Oh my god, get new robotic legs.
Get Cody Brown on when we do the Clone Wars animated series because he loves Clone Wars.
What?
We gotta get Cody on for Clone Wars animated series.
Yes, Cody and Marty too. Marty's rewatching them
6
again.
may be a lot to manage, but we will be professionals with a whole studio by then, so it'll be.
Now, are you doing every Clone Wars episode?
See, we're gonna take that as it comes. I may do chunks at a time.
You might want to just like get the big points because there are a lot of just like you said episodes where you're just like, why the fuck am I watching this?
I could even try to do like a season or half a season at a time, but we'll see. That's why I'm kind of slowly watching it now.
Yeah, there's main plot points that I think would probably be the best to go through.
Absolutely.
And then we just skip Rebels. I've
heard great things about Rebels. It's canon, so we're not skipping anything. If I'm going to read, if you're going to read Size Matters Not, the
there's
young
light
reader.
Speed traveling space whales. All right, if that's what you want to get into, fine.
No, dude, we could definitely do some space whales traveling.
If I'm going to review children's books in front of you guys, we're going to watch Star Wars Rebels.
All right, I'm not gonna spoil anything else. You'll be surprised when we get to the space whales.
You're jumping ahead, pal.
So let's. I want to take a look at our comments and subscribers on our videos. Let's see if we've got any new ones. I typed in YouTube's.
Oh, both of them, huh?
Yeah.
Both of my YouTubes, please. Let's switch to Cannonballs.
It's not just your opening page. I'm already on it, ready to go.
You can just type in #1 most watched podcast.
Yeah, just go to trending and it'll be
it'll probably be the first thing to come up. So,
what's the #1 podcast? All right. So you guys listened to episode 2 back? Did either of you listen to episode 1?
No.
Did you?
I listened to it a little bit. Yeah, I did. It's definitely the audio for you it's loud.
It was unlistenable. I'm surprised my brother got through it.
You know. Yeah. It can be a little rough, but again, wise, I mean, I don't think that there's like any serious issues. We're doing a remote podcast for the first time. Like, it's not going to be, a perfect thing. We're not even editing it.
You don't even have real headphones.
I hope that's not a shock to anyone. Yeah.
On another note, I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but it sounds like the audio is like mad choppy when we're doing the video chat as opposed to just a straight audio chat.
So it's bad for you on your end, but on my end, I haven't heard any choppiness, and we're recording my end.
Well, so what I mean by that is if two people talk at the same time, it seems like instead of having both the audio qualities come through, it drowns them both out. It's not sure which.
People.
Yeah, it does.
I agree with that.
What'd you say, Wes?
Me.
So as soon as someone starts laughing, you can't hear what anyone else is saying.
All right, we are up to 5 likes and 7 subscribers for Cannonballs. Lieutenant Bastian is still the only comments. The anonymous commenter who said loved it deleted their comment.
They're probably just a spam profile.
We probably insulted him in the next one. He was probably blind. If I were to
guess, apologize to you.
Or anything. He was probably any sort of legitimate human. It was like, these guys are assholes. I did it.
Oh no! The guy who asked us to be his friend also deleted their comment.
Now, see, that's surprising because he heard the second one and still wanted to be friends.
Oh, Lucas, come back to us.
Well, no one replied to him. You just liked it. Imagine someone asking you to be their friend, and you just kind of like, yeah, that's good.
You just give a thumbs up. I'm like, hey, Bill.
He said, I love you, and I said, thanks.
That's it. And I'm like,
I love you. Awesome sauce, bro.
Yo, dude, that's totally awesome sauce.
I love me, too.
Yeah, you're terrible at maintaining relationships, Brian, just like every day.
We need to hire a social media manager.
We could also hire one of those cell phone farms in India, and they just will ping our videos like no other.
I was going to say, why don't we buy like some likes from Russia or something?
Yeah. All the best social media influencers do that.
Yeah. How much Bitcoin do you guys have in your pockets right now?
I have like
$0.341624.
$40 worth of Bitcoin.
I do. It's worth almost nothing.
I think that's how you have to pay for
10 years was.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
That reminds me of a story. So I went, as you guys know, I went to school for journalism, and one of the things that I had to write, like,
illiterate.
I literally had to write, and I chose to write about it, I guess, but did a story on like the dark web, and it was 2012, I want to say, and so one of the things that I wrote about and like sort of invested time researching and stuff like that into was Bitcoin, and I was like, I wonder if like it's worth it to buy Bitcoin right now when Bitcoin was relatively early on and dirt cheap, and I was never like super serious about it. I think I downloaded a wallet, but I never ended up downloading anything. But it's definitely something that I like think about now, and I'm like, why not even like have like buy one or two? I legitimately think that they were less than $100 a piece. Like even just one, I don't know. It's one of those things that like in hindsight seems stupid, but like when I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why am I going to buy money for something that I only conceptually have just learned about?
Yeah, I had similar thoughts, and then I looked back. And I'm like, what money was I gonna fucking put in Bitcoin?
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, yeah,
like I was in college.
Exactly. Yeah. What am I gonna put $100 in Bitcoin, and then when it fails, be like, why did I do that?
Where would I be now? But yeah, I had a friend of a friend. It was like my freshman roommate's roommate his sophomore year. He like pulled up Silk Road on his laptop. There were so many steps, like VPNs within VPNs. He took like
I had to use a VPN circuit, and then I had to use a special browser.
Stabbed it into a potato. Had a hamster on a wheel running.
Yeah.
Flew a kite out the window with a key.
Yeah.
And then he got to the Silk Road. And he's like, I could buy seeds of weed.
That's all it's for, and guns and fake passports and acid. Yeah. It's a lot of shit.
All right, boys, I think that's gonna about wrap it up. Did I assign a sign off to one of you? I think maybe Wes has to make up for last week.
Thanks,
I'm gonna give him a super large lead in so he could kind of think of
I'm ready, dude. I've been thinking about it all day.
Any closing comments from the other two of you?
No.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
We didn't talk about General Grievous's penis, but
oh yeah, wait. We forgot the fucking topic of the show. How rough does General Grievous like it?
We forgot the topic of the show.
Probably very rough. He seems like he likes to take it.
So many appendages. I mean,
have you seen the Reddit pictures where they add a lightsaber to Grievous every day?
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, it's like 100.
Yeah, he's got like a fucking 1,000 lightsabers.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. All right, so Grievous likes it kind of rough. Sorry for the clickbait title. We got to the topic though.
I think it's pretty conclusive.
I mean, come on, let's
he gets that on all 8s. If I were to guess,
he's gruff.
I think he's got 6.
He's kind of a whiner. He's all hunched over.
I thought he's got 4 legs and 4 arms. No.
All right. Well, next week we're gonna find out how many legs Grievous has. But as for now, as we always sign off the Cannonballs podcast, Wesley.
Well, I'd like to say that we'd absolutely have real content for you guys next week, but only a Sith deals in absolutes.